Morning, Kindlech, or good evening, Kindlech. Here to God willing record Oz Gimel and the mimer Acharon Shel Pesach Tuf Shin. Been a little bit long day, great day, but long day, and wasn't able to put Chassidus up this morning because the iMovie program was giving me attitude. I think it had to do with Dropbox. Couldn't get Dropbox installed. Still don't have it installed. You know, it's amazing how hard the world or the Yetzer fights against getting this Chassidus on the web. Chassidus is the most powerful thing in the universe. And Chabad Chassidus, in my opinion, in particular. And to say it, to spread it, is nothing does more than bring Mashiach. So naturally, there's a lot of opposition, but it comes in funny, twisty ways. I was here and I was ready, you know, and still, like, the computer wouldn't work, and this and that and the next thing. Anyway, God willing, now we have an opportunity, and hopefully I still have strength to put up this OS for you. I have recorded this OS before, too. Wasn't happy with it, so here we go. Here's a new one. So let me see. What do you call a blind deer? No idea. What do you call a blind deer with no legs? Still no idea. Alright, and why are we learning? Bind our souls to God, pleasure God, hasten redemption. Alright, did I ever pose some heavy-hitting questions in OS base about why do we still mention the going out of Egypt when in the ultimate redemption we should have it right away? Seemingly it's old news, small potatoes. And also, how can it be that the wonders of the ultimate redemption we should have it right away are infinitely greater than the wonders of going out of Egypt, and yet similar at the same time? So Oz Gimel is going to start a discussion on wonders, on miracles. We're going to discuss 4 different types of miracles, 2 general, and then one class will be broken into 3. Miracles that break nature, miracles within nature. Then we're talking about miracles within nature. We're going to break that down a little bit. And that's going to be the primary thrust of our discussion. So Oz Gimel, by Inyan, let's talk about it. Generally, when it comes to miracles, there's 2 classes. Nisim shel mateva, those that are above nature. Shnisim shel b'tziyut, like you went out of Egypt, the sea split, the river turned to blood, etc., etc. Hapigas amayim adam, v'ad lanes decrease yamsu shenefik levin levasha, the 2 I just mentioned. V'nisim l'muvshim b'darkei teva, then there's miracles that are clothed in nature. And this we're going to break into 3 classes. So let's see. Ubehem atzum shlo shofarim, 3 classes. Shlavusha yetevahem ba'ofish nika shem rak lavusha leish t'smalavish lehem. The highest level, the ones that appear the most miraculous to us, although nature itself is miraculous if we just learn to perceive it that way, is where nature is just a thin veil, but everyone knows it was a miracle that happened. But it was enclosed in nature. Nothing, nature didn't have to break it. Maybe you could say it's a greater miracle that Hashem didn't have to break nature. Kanisim, Chanukah, Purim, 2 classes, 2 examples of this level of miracle are Chanukah and Purim. And anything where a person would say the blessing, Birchas Nisim. Nafalav Kotel, Nitzok Yotzi. And for example, God forbid a wall falls on somebody, and God willing they live. This type of miracle, nothing miraculous, no rules of nature broke, no statutes of nature broke, yet it's still just totally unbelievable. How could that possibly happen? Wow. That's level 1 of within nature. Even though they're clothed in nature, everybody gets it's a miracle. Level 1. A little lower. The nature doesn't cover up on what happened, but it's still, we know something a little out of the ordinary happened. You wouldn't necessarily default call it miraculous, but you can tell it's a little different than the standard fare. For example, anything that a person has to say the bracha of Hodah on. See if I can remember. Sea journey, overcoming severe illness. God forbid anyone should be really sick. If anyone's sick, they should be healed. Getting freed from captives. I don't remember the last one. There's 4 things. It's called the blessing of thanksgiving from danger. You know, something pretty tremendous happened. But again, the rules of nature didn't break, and it's sick people do get healed. People do cross the ocean. People do get freed from captives. It happens. Come on. We don't say the blessing of Birchas Anisim, but we do bring, a person would bring a thanks offering. Would bench Gomel. So he doesn't say the blessing, thank God for the miracles, but he says thank God for all this good stuff he did, and also he brings a certain offering of thanks. So it's a tremendous thing that happened, but a little more enclosed in nature than Chanukah and Purim. So let's say we got sea splitting in the nature busting level. Then we have Chanukah and Purim in the highest within nature level. Then a little lower we have someone's healed, God willing. A little lower than that, where the nature hides on the miracle completely. The guy doesn't even know anything special happened. A miracle happened to him, he doesn't even know it. Like it said about the verse that Hashem does tremendous wonders himself, and the sages say, what is this himself business? Only Hashem knows about it. Even the guy it happened to doesn't know what happened. Everybody should have what they want and need. They shouldn't need cash, kids, and Mashiach. We should have the ultimate redemption right away. I've been using an example of a guy needs a big job interview in Manhattan, can't get a parking spot, getting nervous. He says to Hashem, please open a parking spot for me and I'll give 20% to charity, which is a nice amount. It's the highest level of the understood standard amount. It's a lot. Tried to get myself to give 12%. It's very hard. 10% is the baseline. It depends how a person is with money. To me, I think 20% is tremendous. There's a discussion if a person should give more. Is this wasteful? A person's not supposed to give so much that they put themselves in the poorhouse, God forbid. Anyway, so he said he'd give 20%. Hashem opens the parking spot for him right then. And he goes, oh, Hashem, never mind, I got it. To him, even though this amazing miracle Hashem arranged for him, at that second he should call out and Hashem opens a space. Nevertheless, to him, it was a totally natural event. Oh yeah, of course, he got a phone call, he had to leave. But did he know the million things that had to happen over the past 50 years that that guy should pull out right then? Does he see the infinite hand of God in that miracle? No, to him it's totally natural. He thinks he understands it. It's completely concealed in nature. So we have 4 levels of miracles to understand. Nature busters. Within nature, we got 3 classes. Chanukah and Purim. Guy overcomes a sickness. God forbid anyone's really sick. I mean, we're talking someone's, God forbid, really sick and they get well. And then, guy doesn't even know what happened. So when we have this map would be nice to have because it's going to set us up for going forward, especially the one where the guy himself doesn't even know it. Nature conceals on this miracle so much. The guy himself doesn't even know what happened. The only one who knows it happened is Hashem. And this miracle we're, God willing, going to discuss at length as we go forward. Alright, next paragraph. And the Rebbe says, now I have to ask you a question. We talked about this idea of our verse, which mentions that Hashem's going to show us wonders in the ultimate redemption that are just unbelievable. And the sages also bring on this verse, the pasuk lasos niflos k'tavado, that Hashem does tremendous miracles himself. And we already know for certain that the wonders of the ultimate redemption are just wow, completely beyond anything anyone's experienced. Certainly out of the I shouldn't say that. Certainly much greater than the miracles of going out of Egypt. It's important to be, when you're giving over a mimer or any part of Torah, it's okay to give yourself a little room to convey the meaning and not say the exact words, because anytime you go from one language to another, you want to make sure you convey the meaning. But it's also important to say what's said and not what's not said. I mean, these novelty of our generation is we have a lot of vessels. We're further from Matan Torah, so maybe you could say we have more light, but at least we have good, solid vessels. The light of Matan Torah could, God forbid, dim over time. If a person's standing in a well-lit room, he doesn't need a lot of understanding. He can see what's going on. He's got another light. Let's say one light's light, physical light, and one light's understanding. If there's enough light, I can see everything. I don't have to know anything. If godliness is totally revealed, the person doesn't really need knowledge. It's just open and plain. But that if the light, God forbid, gets dimmer, as it has gotten seemingly over time, although it's still here, it's just a matter of picking up, receiving it, the vessels strike out more. And like we see, how many letters of Torah do we have now? I mean, for 1,100 years after Matan Torah, even the whole oral law wasn't written down. Then they wrote down just the Mishnayos, that was enough. Then they wrote down the Gemara, that was enough. Then for 500 years, that was enough. Then Rashi came around, the Rishonim, and a lot more writings came out. And then the Acharonim started with the Shulchan Aruch, and a lot more came out. And eventually Chassidus came out, thank God. So what we have is the most vessels. And what's nice about vessels is they're here forever and ever, and they ain't moving. And they're rocks, as long as, God forbid, nothing terrible happens, and God forbid, all the books don't get burned up. But that being said, if these vessels are our rocks, our truth, are the novelty of the greatness of our generations, that we have these permanent fixes of godliness written down that you can touch, then it's important to be true to what they say, what they represent. So I'm saying a person has to give themselves a little latitude to translate and not say chunk, word for word, where it won't make sense. At the same time, it says here that the miracles of the ultimate redemption, Shabbat right away, are much greater than the miracles of going out of Egypt. Not much greater than anything anyone's ever experienced. So that type of thing, I feel like when you start your website and start to give over more chassidus or whatever you're giving over, you want to at least be careful with that. It is God's Torah, and we want to represent what God said, not something that's a little close or kind of like. But again, you do need that latitude to be able to translate. Otherwise, you can say a bunch of chunky stuff that doesn't mean anything to anyone. Keep in mind, you're trying to give over God and godliness and God's Torah to someone else. So, it has to be in a way that a human being can understand, but it has to be true to the words. So, on the one hand, we're clear that these are going to be unbelievable miracles, much more than going out of Egypt. And yet, at the same time, we bring in the verse about Hashem does these tremendous wonders by himself, which shows on a level of miracle that the guy himself doesn't even get it. So again, this question popping up about these miracles in ultimate redemption seems like they're unbelievably beyond the miracles in Egypt, and at the same time, it seems like the guy himself isn't even going to know what's going to happen. So I'm very confused. How could it be there's these unbelievable miracles that make splitting of the sea look like nothing, and no one knows it's going to happen? It's a big question. So the Rebbe is saying we have to understand. So the Semach Tzedek, the third Rebbe Lubavitch, offers an explanation. That the source for the miracles that that are enclosed in nature, and I'm going to say the more enclosed they are, have a higher source. The more enclosed, the more hidden, the lower it is down here, the higher the source. So the miracles that are enclosed in nature have a higher source than the miracles that break nature. And I often like to use the model that, anything that falls lower has a higher source. The wall that tips over, the rock that's the furthest away, was the highest on the wall. The further it fell into the ocean, the higher it fell from, etc., etc. But to be able to explain Chassidus to another Chassid, a 30-year-old Chassid who's labored in Chassidus for 10 years, that's very nice. Chassidus isn't, sometimes it takes, I don't know how to put it, it's a wonderful thing. To explain Chassidus to a 5-year-old in a way they get it, in a certain way the 5-year-old's easier. This actually works easier in secular. So I'm a reference frame. I think for the way I think anyway, the way I think people think, that's a chunky sentence, strikes out better. Teach calculus to a high school kid's very nice. It's not necessarily an easy subject for a lot of people, but to teach it to a 5-year-old is more impressive. So the better the teacher understands it, the higher the light, the higher the source, the more he can bring it down. So Hashem to bring his infinite, because keep in mind everything is Hashem, and everything is Hashem's infinite light. It's just a matter of picking it up and perceiving it, and how much is it concealed. And the classic question, what's the bigger miracle? That Hashem's enlivening you every second something from nothing, or he does it in a way you can't see it? That he's doing it, or he's doing it in the actual act, or that he's able to do it in a way that it's concealed? Which is greater, the concealment or the doing? So anyway, that if Hashem's able to take his infinite light, bring it down here in a way a person doesn't even know they're experiencing, that's an amazing thing. So we're saying the deeper it's enclosed in nature, the higher the source. That's the most important point here. And the miracles where the guy himself doesn't even know that happened are sourced in this level of levadoi, himself. Just Hashem. Hashem's the only one that knows it happens, talking on a level where all that exists is Hashem, nothing else. Ein od milvadoi, levadoi, milvadoi. Talking about an extremely high level. All there is God, and whatever exists on this level is Godded out, it's infinite, it's beyond, it's no room for any discussion other than anything besides God. Just a completely pure, godly level. So the Rebbe is starting to suggest that these miracles that a person is going to experience in the ultimate redemption, it should be right away, are going to be also from this infinitely high level of Levadai. Oh, maybe it won't be so concealed, but it's going to be from this amazingly high source. So, as I understand it, we're suggesting for right now that these miracles in the ultimate redemption are going to be unbelievable superstar miracles, and they're going to source from this level of Levadai, where all that exists is God. So, all the milas. And I would say the question left now is, and how is you going to tell me it's similar to the miracles of going out of Egypt if it's going to make them look like small potatoes? And still, why are you mentioning going out of Egypt in the ultimate redemption? The two overarching questions are there, but a little bit we can see this parallel of it's going to be nature busters, and it's going to be from this level of Levadoi. And what do we know of Levado so far? Is it's such a high source that Hashem can make miracles from this source that a guy doesn't even know what happens. But seemingly, in the ultimate redemption, we will know what happens. It seems like that's where we're heading. But they're going to be superstar, unbelievable miracles. Miracles, even in comparison to the miracles of going out of Egypt, and stemming from such a high source of this level of Levado that all exists is God. Might have got a little ahead of myself. I didn't tell you anything that you didn't already hear or about to hear, but I might have got a little ahead of myself. All we said strictly is now we understand that the miracles of ultimate redemption, we should have it right away, are up, above, beyond the miracles of going out of Egypt, and they're going to stem from the super high level of Levadai, where all there is God and His infinite light, His name, everything is guided out. Just such an unbelievably godly level, nothing else to talk about. All right, next paragraph. Los ifdal pizeh yesh levar gama shkasav and daik arenon flows. And our Rebbe wants to look at the end of the verse. We talked about the word kiyameh. Why is it plural language? Kimetzei slem eretz Yisrael. Your days of going out of Egypt. We talked a lot about this relationship of going out of Egypt to the ultimate redemption. Now we're highlighting the next word in the pasuk. Arenu. I will show you niflos. Hashem says, I will show you wonders. These unbelievable wonders stemming from the level of Vado. So seemingly the Rebbe is saying, look, let's make a implication from the fact that the verse says, I will show you. Hashem will show you. What does this mean? That the main novelty the verse is coming to teach you isn't that there's going to be wonders in the ultimate redemption, we should have it right away. There's been wonders. There's wonders in Egypt. There's wonders around you all the time. That's not the idea. It's the idea that Hashem's going to show them to you. Not that they exist, but that Hashem is going to show them to you. And hopefully you jump straight to the question, what do you mean, show them to you? Didn't you see the miracles when you go out of Egypt? Didn't Hashem show you then? So this is where we're headed. Hopefully you feel that question a little bit. Because the Rebbe says we have miracles now. There's miracles happening around you all the time. It's just a matter of tuning in. And I shared in another video a personal miracle that happened to me. I left it up to you if it's a nature buster or within nature. Blian Hara, this miracle happened to me. There's miracles that happen on a Jewish man's body every day. I'm not getting into it right now. In regards to the fill-in, you have to look for it. And it said, as recently as in the Maggid's time, maybe in the Alter Rebbe's time, a few hundred years ago, miracles were rolling around on the floor like marbles. No one could bother to pick them up. It's a matter of tuning in. You are walking around in a godly world, a spiritual world. The physical is spiritual. Everything is God. That's the truth. It's just a matter of tuning into it. Don't buy into the illusion of the money and the power and the this and the that and the macho and other. Don't worry about it. God is the one real truth, and you're dealing with a godly man. I hope I'm reaching you in the right way, and I hope I'm sending you a light that you can feel is a little different than anyone else you interact with, so you can get a sense of just feeling God when you interact with me. That should be the nicest part of the video. Hey, a little bit of God time. Let me turn into the God channel, and not just some guy jibber-jabbering about God, but that maybe has what to say and maybe doesn't. The guy who's like giving you God, putting God in your mouth, putting a godly feel right on you or into you or around you and sending it to you. So hopefully you feel a little bit of that and how it's different than anything else. Not just that I have a different personality or different style, but the way God radiates through me. I hope you get to feel that and a little bit of peace and light and love. And I hope you're living in an enlightened world while you're watching the videos. And I hope you come back and I hope you tell others. And I hope we spread the light throughout the world and have Mashiach now. That's the ultimate goal. You should get excited about God and want to serve God. Teach others about serving God. You should pass on a little what you learned, please. Inspire others and become a godly being. Alright, so we have plenty of miracles now. We even have these miracles stemming from this level of Levado now, the infinite light of God. I mean, Levado, where all that exists, I got myself a little excited, stemming from, pump myself up there. I have to be careful about portraying that in the right way. I want to give you all type of good, godly stuff, and I want you to connect to me, and I want you to know I'm godly, and I want to put God in your room, and also I don't want to give myself this big pumped up ego. Start to think I'm the greatest. God's what's the greatest. And the Rebbe is the greatest. God picked the Rebbe, and the Rebbe is the greatest. Anyway, so ultimate goal, who's really in the lead is the Rebbe. I'm here to try to attach you to him, and he's going to take us out. I know it's a radical idea for some. But the Rebbe is the one you're counting on, and God, of course. But anyway, I'm hoping to put God in your mouth, that you'll feel it, taste it, touch it, feel it, and all those good things that you'll experience it, and we'll have a little God time while we're hanging out together. At the same time, I don't want to pump myself up that I start thinking it's all about me, and lose focus. I started feeling so good there for a minute, I couldn't even translate the words. So, it's fine balance between doing your job, although I think it's important to note for anyone who's spreading Chassidus or is a little bit more of a spiritual person, if you feel that you're spreading spirituality is getting you a big ego, the answer is not to stop spreading so that you can become a more humble person, a more bittul person. Absolutely 100% not. The job is to do the job. You always do the job. You never, ever, ever stop doing the job. But you have to learn to do your job better. It's about you doing your job more than it is about your personal refinement. Yeah, you need to be more refined. You need to get better. You have to find the balance. And you have to spread it. Of course you have to. But it doesn't mean you take a day off to make you a better you. It's on-the-job training, constantly going forward. And it's much more important that you spread and help the other guy than you become the Mr. Perfect Godly Guy. Believe me. Stay on track. Do your job. And you'll find times to become more humble, more bittul, whatever it is that you happen to need. But don't use any of these excuses of you're not holding exactly here to take a day off. There's no days off. We're going forward. And in Judaism, the days off are the days even more on. Shabbos and Yom Tov, those are days that spread more godliness, pick up more godly light. Anyway, I got a little excited there, but it happens. A person thinks, I need to take some time for me to work on me, so you're not going to go out and help the world that day? Give me a break. You got to stay on the job. But it's also important. It's not an easy question, but I have a clear answer, so I just want it to be clear. I want to hammer it in. I don't want any more doubt about this. I don't need any more tremendous chassidim isolating themselves in the room, thinking about meditating on the greatness of God, when they could have been out there helping people. You figure it out on the way. You have set times for your meditations, and when it's time to work, it's time to work. And God is good. Anyway, so I have to find the balance between being godly, representing God, and not getting too pumped up. And I didn't really get pumped. I just got excited. I got that nice, good, godly feeling. And then so much light, it was hard to pay attention. I have to stay focused. Baruch Hashem. Anyway, I hope I didn't scare anybody or yell too loud. But, let's focus. The main thing is the job. Let's accomplish the task. And the second thing is to work on ourselves. But both are important. But don't lose sight of which is which. Is it the body or the soul? So a mitzvah is a mitzvah. Even if you're thinking about doing your laundry, you got to do the mitzvah. You got to do the job. And your intent will come along, and your personal refinement will come along. And believe me, the more you do the right thing, also it has a, what the right word is, a transcendent effect, a secondary effect. It will get better, even without you consciously working at it, just because you're doing good things, and God will help you and sees the good you're doing. So He wants you to be helped. And He wants you to have success. And the more people you're helping, the more God wants you to have success, and the more He'll help you and help. So, etc., etc., etc. All right. Nice side tangent. You always get a little mini for bringing it here, but, got to make it fray like it's fun. So anyway, even now we're having miracles that come from this level of Levado, where all that exists is God. But the novelty of the ultimate redemption you have it in a way is that you'll see it. And hopefully that question's still tickling on your tongue. Well, how could it be you didn't see it? If it's so unbelievably busting nature, how's it going to be the guy's not going to notice? You're telling me there's a Jew standing in front of the sea splitting didn't see it? You're going to see. God willing, stay tuned. Got to give you a teaser, keep you coming for future episodes. Although they're already posted, but that's another story. And I got a little off track again. But the miracles that exist in our time that extend from this level of Levadai, the only one that knows that it's happening is Hashem. Miracles that come from this high of a source, particularly from this level of Levado, are represented by the miracles the guy doesn't even know what happened to him. So presently, and to keep in mind, this is, I shouldn't say that. So presently, these type of miracles which are happening around us all the time, Hashem's the only one that knows it happened. So in the ultimate redemption, a person will see it, which he doesn't see now. So it's not at all what I said. It's not about the sea splitting and how did you see, although we're going to get into that. That's the problem if you record the mimer out of order. But could be worse problems. Anyway, we are going to talk about that too. And the Rebbe is going to make a tremendous novelty in this whole way of looking at that. That's phenomenal. I guess I'm a little excited about that, so I'm bringing it up early. But what we're strictly saying here is the miracles that stem from Levado now, the guy doesn't see it. And the ultimate redemption, he will see it. And that's what the verse is coming to teach you. I will show you wonders. Hashem's going to show you those type of miracles which now are completely hidden. We're going to see it. And in ultimate redemption, a guy will get it. He'll see it. He'll know it's a total miracle. Alright, so it's a little all over the place. We'll have to see if this one cuts the mustard, so to speak, and makes the makes a grade. But we're trying to give God pleasure, trying to give you pleasure, get you excited about God, fired up, that you want to go out there and do your godly mission with a passion and a chayas and a simcha and a tainug and go get others fired up. I'm going to try to make more videos for you, Bli Har. I appreciate you watching. Please spread the word. Let us spread the fire and have Mashiach now.